Warning. Participants, please proceed with caution and do please enjoy this almost daily gaming presentation. CTAG Studios, the production company that exists entirely in Mr. Zeppo's imagination, proudly presents Enter today's episode title here. Yin Yang War Robots. Frontiers Yin Yang. Almost. Daily Mecha Grind Yin Yang the. Almost. Daily Variety Live Stream and Content Creation Show Extravaganza Yin Yang. The. Almost. Daily Variety Gaming and Content Creation Live Stream Show Extravaganza. Welcome to Mr. Zeppo's TikTok Live and Twitch TV dual platform multi-broadcast now with new and improved graphics. Welcome to the Zeppoverse, a content creation project of many projects. Visit the many dimensions of the Zeppoverse at this link collection page. https://solo.to/mrzeppo. This live show is a special presentation of the almost daily variety chaos content creation Zeppoverse project Yin Yang Live on TikTok and Twitch Yin Yang. Featuring chaos variety chaos multi-franchise roulette wheel roster of too many games, and never quite enough time to play them all in. New and improved, totally rebooted iteration of this presentation now featuring new special variety completionist collection roulette mechanics with treats and surprises and at least one new spontaneous idea announcement per streaming session, plus Zeppoverse world building moments sprinkled chaotically throughout. Please, dear human audience, you are cordially invited to visit the official TikTok page for the Zeppoverse project here. https://www.tiktok.com/@TheIncorrigibleMrZeppo. The incorrigible Mr. Zeppo is here, live on stream, commodifying himself for your entertainment. So please, dear human audiences, please have fun interacting with your host, the incorrigible Mr. Zeppo. In real time, creators must be 18 or older to go live. Viewers must be 18 or older in order to join chat and to recharge and send gifts. Remember, we are here trying to create a safe viewing experience, and we invite you to participate by also following the platform community guidelines. Violators, bots, sales scripts, scams, trolls and stream sniping haters will be called out, openly ridiculed and banned. Please support the ongoing creative processes behind this collection of different projects by listening to several episodes of the OG podcast episodes of the podcast of many podcasts project, aka the Almost Daily Zencast presents. https://www.spreaker.com/organization/ctag-studios-9687696. Warning, the opinions expressed on the social media accounts of the fictional character known as the incorrigible Mr. Zeppo are the very real public discourse opinions of the creative content creation artist behind the Zeppoverse projects. Please be advised that some of those opinions may possibly be interpreted as potentially unusual, eccentric, or even mildly controversial. Those opinions are entirely irrelevant to this gaming live stream. DEF breathing exercise Zen. And now, without further ado, please give a warm welcome to your new favorite host and fictional character from a book series you have not read yet, because he has not actually really started writing it yet. The weird, the odd, the eccentric, the one and only robot from the future playing video games like a human to survive your local preemptive apocalypse. The incorrigible Mr. Zeppo. Insert audience roaring with applause sound effect here. Warning. Participants, please proceed with caution and do please enjoy this almost daily gaming presentation.
Greetings and salutations, friends. Welcome. I messed up the slideshow. I forgot all about it. I was gonna do follow along and do the thing. I gotta reorganize it so the slideshow and the script are all coordinated. I'm also not used to all the buttons. Now that I have a new microphone, it's like an extra set of buttons that I have to press on and off in different ways that I'm used to. Regardless, hello and welcome. Welcome to the madness. I am your host, the eccentric, the bizarre, the weird, the most certainly not normal. Although not normal isn't bad, but also not normal can be very alarming. It depends on which way a thing is not normal, so I digress. The one, the only, the incorrigible Mr. Zeppo. What are we doing? We are diving directly into Assassin's Creed Shadow because I woke up with the need, with it pressing heavily on my mind. And there's a lot of other things going on in the gaming universe that are also clamoring for our attention. Not the least of which is the debut launch day of South of Midnight, which looks gorgeous and awesome. And will probably prove to be, quote unquote, somehow seen as still working with the microphone, controversial for reasons that will become blatantly obvious once people mouth off about it long enough. But it looks fun and it looks gorgeous. I just hope that I don't find its game like movement and fighting mechanics to be counterintuitive and or just exactly the kind of thing that drives me nuts and makes me not want to play. Which of course will have nothing to do with anything other than my inability to learn certain kinds of gameplay mechanics. I'm gonna stop rambling. Let's get to it. I want to dive in, and I want to. We've been grinding sort of like the medium and small stuff. I do want to take like another tour of everything we haven't been to, but I also want to start working on like the pushing a little bit further forward with the actual. Well, I want to work our way up the list from like easy, meaningless side quest up through to like mid-level target-based mission stuff that needs our attention. Let's get to it. I'm still sleepy. The coffee is not kicked in yet. Speaking of which, where is it? There it is. Here we go, friends. Join me in adventuring through the beautifully designed and just gorgeously laid out topography of feudal Japan as imagined in Assassin's Creed Shadows. Hold the presses. There's some breaking news. A headline that just flew across my virtual desktop. A headline that just showed up in my phone's dashboard news feed. Quote, and of course this is just probably like inverse negative hype. What does it say? Recent Oblivion update may not be the exciting remake news fans have been hoping for. Dun dun dun. Wait, I thought I put the freaking thing with the. Where's the camera? I gotta fix this chat situation here too. Get out of here, chat. Purge you out. Did I already turn off the chatbots? If I haven't, it's time to do so. Good night, chatbots. You're delightful but annoying. And you don't really help. I wish you were more of like a responsive thing that actually... TikTok roll call! Gab joined. A bunch of other people's names were scrolling by, but I had some sort of weird glitchy opening moment. And so at first, Streamlabs thought it could not connect to TikTok. And then I had 3 TikTok live monitoring tabs open instead of the usual one because of this weird hiccup. I wouldn't even call it a glitch. It was a hiccup. So tragically, I did not get to do. Oh, I gotta pull the tab over. Come follow me. See what I'm looking at. I already got rid of. Please, dear friends, step through the theater of your imagination into the beginning of this beautiful imaginary adventure we're about to go on together. And as we prepare to do so, let's practice one of our goofy little rituals here. TikTok roll call, which I did without properly announcing just there and without doing it correctly. As you can see, Gab was the most recent person to join. We've had 5 total views. This is where TikTok live alerts and chat and stuff show up, and that's the only way I can check it. Okay, friends? So if I'm slow to respond to new TikTok viewers, it's because of that. And that's funny. I always explain that when it appears to be 0 people in the lobby, as I've come to call everything that is a chat room, the lobby. And then, of course, when I go away, I play and blah, 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 and I forget to try to, like, always talk to the TikTok people in my, like, generic chatter. What's up, TikTok people? Like that, you know. Okay, back to this. Let's go. Comedy Gold. Friends, thank you. Whoever you are. Those of you, there seems to be a small but growing group of people who drop by my Twitch account and view my videos like on the opposite schedule that I'm on. That or TikTok, Twitch does a weird thing where, like, it takes forever to calculate views. It takes 24 hours. I don't know. But the point is, let's say we're doing this video right now. I'll end it and I'll have interacted with nothing but some random chatbot telling me to buy cheap viewers on such and such website that is clearly a violation of terms of service. And then, you know, it'll have felt like there must have been 0 viewers the whole time, or one, you know, lurker lurking, and then the chatbot. And then the following morning, I'll look at this same video and it'll have 5 views, or 7 views, or randomly 22 views, or whatever. And it's like, huh. So did people come by and visit it, like, while I was sleeping? So are my most enthusiastic fans just on the, like, on the opposite side of the planet? So that no matter what, if you're just at the right opposite side of the planet, like in the right spot, no matter what time I go to bed at or wake or go to sleep at, it'll always feel like you don't see my stuff until it's been the next day, you know? Because you won't have had. Anyway, shout out to you. Thank you very much, whoever you are. Let's get to it. I'm in a mood today, folks. The world's on fire, and we had a beautiful moving thing happen this weekend, which I'm embarrassed to tell you. I'm embarrassed to tell you this. I knew that there was plans and like there was grassroots movements to start organizing, and that big protests were on their way. I thought I would have heard about them. I did not see anything promoted. I did not see anything sent. I did not get anything sent. I guess I'm not in on the in crowd. For as much as I get accused of being part of the pro-democracy left-center electorate, I'm not. Like, I'm really not. I feel guilty, though, that, like, I was just blissfully unaware and just doing my own thing and didn't even really catch on that there had been a big protest until, like, the end of the weekend / into this week. It's now Tuesday. I'm like, the shoe's really dropping. I'm like, oh, wow, that was huge. That was an epic, huge thing. That wasn't just a significant protest in a city or 2 or 3. That was a nationwide movement that should not be undervalued or underplayed and should not be dismissed. And is exactly what they're going to do. They're going to be like, whatever, nobody cares. In fact, they're already doing it. They're doing it all over social media, which is funny. When someone, let me just put this out there, okay, real quick, in case people who might tune into this, or in case I can make a magic movie loop of this that gets that gets around and hits some people and changes some minds. If you're the kind of person that needs to post, the compulsion is there inside of you to go out of your way to type into someone's comment thread, nobody cares. What you're really telling the world is that you're choosing not to care. And that reveals more about you than I think you realize. And I think you don't care. But as someone who literally does not give a flying fuck about what other people judgmentally and or bigotedly think about me as a self-defense mechanism, I also care very much and do have some fucks to give about like the inverse, like healthy caring and healthy investment in genuine like empathy and compassion and caring about the problems that other people face, maybe even a little bit, especially when I'm so lucky as to not be facing the same problems. So it's not the flex you all think it is. And I don't know how much they are just pretending not to understand the psychology it reveals about them, or if they really do just not understand. Either way, those of us who do understand, like, see it and see it clearly, and you're not fooling anybody besides yourselves. The most tragic thing about the gaslighting going on in our society right now is that it's self-inflicted damage. There's a lot of gaslighting going on, and people on all sides of the debate are being targeted with gaslighting type gaslight. But it seems to be doing a weird thing where it just saturates and then like backfires on the group that is trying to gaslight the rest of everybody else. Like, the people gaslighting in support of Donald Trump only are fooling themselves. They are not gaining new converts. You can't talk anyone down from having realized what a mess it has been from day one, and it is continuing to get more messy and more complicated since. And I mean like day one, his first term. The way it's really hard to get people who have realized how empty and meaningless the majority of organized religions really are, and how much they stray from and completely miss the mark of the original teachings and the intent. Now, I know it's a weird parallel to make, but it's there. And it seems clear as day to me and painfully obvious. But yeah, it goes on. Here we are. It continues, friends. So huzzah to everyone who protest, and kudos. How demure. How does the rest? What's the rest of that? And now passe TikTok internet reference. How demure. How charming? No. How something. It's a 3-parter, and I love 3-part bits, and I don't have the bit in my head. But congratulations. Like, I don't know how many people turned out, but it looks like it must have been millions upon millions of folks. And this brings up a tragedy, like, huge crowds and like Trump's comedically bizarre obsession with crowd size. They have built up the sycophants and the pro-Trump establishment has built up from the beginning the mythos. Like, Trump himself has bullshitted hard about this. His crowd sizes are the biggest ever, and blah blah blah. I don't think that MAGA has clearly understood that the core of their group, that constituency, as far as we can tell based on surveys, despite their mythology of being the quote sleeping or silent or quiet majority or they aren't, like, they never have been. from every survey I've seen, the people who are hardcore MAGA, people who are like always Trump is God's, they constitute between like 9 and 15% of the American population at large, right? What the left versus right slash or ampersand right versus left double-barreled treadmill-driven echo chambers want everyone caught up in running and arguing and tugging of war in those echo chambers to just ignore is that the active, what's the term? Like the people, like the number of people who vote when combined between all parties, left, right, and the spectrum of independents and whatever alternative parties, which are relatively small. You all still are a minority in the country. There is a massive plurality slash a growing majority of people in this country that do not vote, have never voted, and many of them adamantly refuse to ever vote. And you can judge and think whatever you want about that choice, but to ignore the reality that they are the majority, that the non-voters, those who are eligible to vote, mind you, I'm not talking about anyone that is ineligible to vote, and that fallacy, that made-up bullshit, malarkey, fear-mongering, that any party is using people who are categorically unable to vote for them is just astoundingly like debunked and disproven thousands of times over and blatantly false. And I can't believe it just keeps spreading. But yeah, there are vastly more there's so many more Americans that do not vote for whatever reasons and are eligible to vote, could vote in a heartbeat if they just went and registered and showed up at the polls, and do not, arguably probably will not ever for whatever reasons. And I'm not judging, and I'm not bringing that up as an excuse or a scapegoat. I'm just saying, dear MAGA, you were never a plurality, let alone some slumbering, undiscovered, unrecognized majority. You're just loud. And you're led by complainers and whiners and provocateurs that are even louder. And that they love to make it sound like y'all have majority rule. And you do not. It's a fantasy. It's a complete made-up fallacy. And the quote, leftist or Democrats or progressives don't have the majority either. They have the function. When you look and compare them in terms of like the functioning infrastructure of politics, they're almost evenly split. And like the left has a slight majority. But obviously, there's this political tug of war that's been going on forever. As long as I've been observing politics here as a conscious thinking person and asking questions, it's been wildly strange to me that there is this Punch and Judy show vibe about the left wing and the right wing. And anyone who observes birds closely enough will let you know that both of those wings are attached to the same fucking animal. You know, and metaphorically speaking, the left wing and the right wing of the American political spectrum are attached to the same effing machine. And while they may stand for different things, quite literally, and that some of that political argumentation may be totally legitimate, they are both still doing whatever it is they're doing and conducting whatever fight they're fighting in function of that system, right? Well, hello. I see we've got some things going on the screen. I'm so used to just rambling and nothing happening because we hardly get any viewers. I'm going to be sad if this is just another cut and paste, blah, blah, blah. Grace Carries 47. Hello, dude. Hello back at you, dude. I am for the record, in case anyone doesn't know, I am a registered, what's the word I'm looking for? I hate it when I can't remember words. I am not licensed. Dang it, wrong words. Get out of the way. Ordained. I am an ordained minister of the Latter-day Church of Dudeism. So, hello, that's why the robes, actually. On days I'm feeling particularly spiritual and dude-like. Hello, my dude-arinos. Welcome. I really admire your content and would love to be your friend and a fan. And if you're cool, feel free to. Look at you with your script, spammity, spam. Why do I get this exact same message 11 times a week, and then they never actually talk to me on Discord? For anyone who genuinely wants to communicate and or coordinate with me about anything, my Discord is right there on my profile. So click on it. And if you're not on Twitch, because when I say my profile, I mean Twitch, TikTok has solo link, and you can click on that and find my Discord link on my solo page. Have at it. I don't use Discord for anything other as a place to, when I remember, also send my TikTok videos to when I'm doing that. TikTok mini videos. So, blah, 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 blah. You will be sent a warning. Violators of the Twitch platform's terms of service and or end user license agreement are not tolerated here. No solicitations of any kind for sales or services. I'm not interested in buying or subscribing. No, thank you. Most especially no copy pasting sales links or promos for quote unquote cheap audience viewers. And you're not a flagged bag-evader, a flagged ban-evader. So I'm wondering, no request of any kind for follow. That's desperately close to what you are doing. Violators of these and any other parts of the Twitch TV rules, TUS or EULA, will be resulted in a warning and maybe immediate ban from my channel. By clicking yes to be able to chat, you agree to and acknowledge that you actually read the following things, and which you didn't. Clearly, you chatbot. And then, let's see if they respond to the warning. They're probably not even listening to me talk right now. It pisses me off. Where was I? I got sidetracked so hard right there. I need a moment. Let's get into the game. Let's get into it. What are we playing? Assassin's Creed. We just barely got rock on. So what was I saying? Oh, blah, 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 blah. Huge protests this weekend. Like, it wasn't just 5 cities. It wasn't 10 cities. It was dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens and tens of 20s of cities. I don't know what number total. Well done. And kudos to you guys. Well done. I stand in coalition with anyone on the left of center political spectrum who opposes Trump. But I will remind the Trump sycophants who love to accuse me blindly of nonsense that is not true. I am not a leftist. I am not a Democrat. Never have I been. And I don't think that in the fullness of comprehension of what I propose, that your average leftist American Democrat would be like super automatically assuming that I'm part of the same thing, right? I'm one of those weirdos that just sits with political ideology and speaks of it and addresses it, analyzes it, and what's the word I'm looking for? Comes at all political ideology from a perspective that tends to irritate people that are deeply wrapped up in self-identifying with any political ideology on either side, of whatever political divide is currently going on. In part because of my whole like, hey, hashtag both wings are attached to the same freaking thing, yo. My coffee's gone lukewarm. We haven't even gotten into the game. I wish I had been at one of these things, but neither was I actually aware. I was just not logistically aware. I was generally conscious of the fact that organized protests were on their way and had already begun happening. Did I know there was one specifically scheduled nationwide, including in multiple cities within striking range of where I am? I had no clue. So I feel silly. I should try harder. That's my fault. I was not in on that loop. But kudos to the movement and to the groundwork done there by a patchwork of political organizations, I'm sure, and committees and whatnot. Probably with different and disparate, as in not quite all the same, not desperate, disparate. Those are two words that sound way too, unfortunately, the same. With differing approaches and perspectives and reasons for organizing, and yet successful at building a big, massive, collaborative movement. And wow, nobody trashed any Capitol buildings anywhere. And we got 50 of them. You know, there's one in every state. So congratulations. That was really beautiful. I was impressed. I was really moved when I realized, oh wow, what an epic thing just happened that I completely missed entirely. And I feel like a dumbass. But huzzah! Congratulations. I'm impressed. I am duly impressed. And I'm glad to hear and further impressed to know that it's planned to be a sustainable public discourse, public display of dissent movement, with an ongoing and like perpetuating, like rolling schedule. So get on out there, friends. Speak your piece and do it peacefully. And remember, if you voted for Trump and you now realize that maybe, just maybe, you wish you hadn't, you're welcome in the coalition of people who are now going to stand up against all this malarkey. Because no matter how you analyze it, no matter how you slice it, this is truly unwarranted. We really could be doing everything so much more collaboratively and so much more efficiently and effectively than we do, than we allow it to happen. And that's like regardless of left-right talking points and left-right yanking on the rope points. I just mean that from my perspective, for as long as I've been observing the political discourse here, it seems like it's almost by design meant to get people riled up, but not actually solve any problems. And I'm a pragmatist. I'm like, well, you see, the problems keep perpetuating and or getting worse. And I'd like to see solutions, not endless political puppetry in the style of a Punch and Judy show. And you could put a pin in that on your collection of pins on the corkboard. Oh, hey, there you go. We got an actual human being that's going to talk about they voted for Trump and what they think now. Welcome, friend. I have no ill will. I get accused a lot by blind faith defenders of Trump. As you may or may not know, I have quite a weird following on Facebook, which includes, for whatever reason, more Trump supporters than not, who are irritated with my perspective for daring to question how anyone can continue to support someone whose behavior is so unconstitutional, un-American, and categorically criminal in nature. And it's fascinating because they're often confused at why I'm concerned. It's like they never read the court documents of any of the cases that he's lost. It's easy to defend a politician when all you know is their marketing hype about themselves, because that's all feel-good malarkey. You love debate, not defender of Trump. You voted for Trump and think that this is just part and parcel of the process. I'm sorry. Hold on. You think that threatening to impose a fake Christian ethno-nationalist theocracy, implement crazy arcane war laws when there is no war we are currently involved in, not directly, and try to stay for a third term, that's just part of the process? I'm sorry, but how do you think that imposing... Have you heard of the family who, like, if there are... what really boggles my mind is when self-proclaimed conspiracy theorists are only regurgitating obviously nonsensical political talking points and don't even really know any of the real conspiracy theories about actual conspiracies. What Trump represents and what he's doing is not part and parcel par for the course in American governance. I mean, the exaggeration of stuff, sure. He's taken it to an nth new degree. Lying for political gain, sure. But trying to impose a fake, because it's not real Christian values, a fake pseudo-Christian ethno-nationalist theocracy on a country in an undemocratic, unconstitutional, you never voted for it kind of way, funded by a foreign-born oligarch that overstayed his student visa and hypocritically is now wanting to deport everyone except for people with HV1 visas, is not par for the course. That is not normal in any way, shape, or form. And you can't argue that it is. There's no way to make that argument. Ethno-theocracy is not normal. Christian nationalism is not normal. Praising God and building a golden effing statue in the image of a politician and claiming he is God's chosen special one is not normal. That is literally the oldest form of psychological manipulation that has been registered and analyzed and recognized as a real thing since before Christianity was invented. Okay? And that's part of the bargain. There's no ignoring that part. There's no minimizing that part. There's no pretending that that part's not happening. And none of that is normal. It's not just normal. It is categorically unconstitutional, un-American, and un-Christ-like. If Jesus was standing right here, right now, next to me, he'd be going, yo, what the fuck are y'all doing in my name? I said none of this. I taught nothing like that. Y'all are disparaging my teachings and ignoring what I presented. And there's no rationalizing that situation away. And like I've said, ain't none of that normal. And there's no way. What do you mean it sounds like trolling? How? There's no trolling. Are you choosing to be unaware of what's going on? Or are you actually that unaware of what's going on? Did you read Project 2025? Have you looked into what the Heritage Foundation is and their ties to the group that calls themselves the Family and what their literal, publicly stated objective is? Which they believe to be God's fucking plan. This is not trolling. This is the reality of the ethno-nationalists that are pulling the strings on the GOP. I'm trying to play Assassin's Creed, but I'm down for this kind of discussion. if you're interested in hearing out my perspective before you tell me that I'm wrong or that I'm trolling, I humbly invite you to, if you're willing to actually hear out my perspective, go listen to my podcast, Good Morning Trumptopia. I've been consistent about my concerns and my fact-based observations and critique of what Trump is about from day one. Now, I didn't put the podcast together until a few months into his first term, but from that day that he rode down the public escalator, I've been speaking out publicly about this guy's a con man. He's purely transactional. He does not believe in the things that he says. He wants to take your money and always has. And running America like a business is a crazy dumb idea, especially when you combine that with made up crazy religious malarkey. They're literally giving Elon Musk more government contracts, and before all this, he already took home $8 billion in government subsidies before he started dismantling the agencies that oversee those contracts so that they can give him more government contracts. That's fighting corruption with corruption. In other words, hypocrisy and bullshit and breaking the system in order to prove that the system's broken is not normal and also a known quantifiable form of manipulation. But yeah, today I'd like to transition. Right now, in this moment, I'd like to move on and play Assassin's Creed. But if you're remotely open-minded and you actually want to discuss things about this further, I've already gone to great lengths to articulate myself in real time during the course of both Trump administrations about my concerns and my critique and my questions. None of it is motivated by ideology. I shit you not. And people then will scoff at that as soon as I say it the first time, because they assume, everyone projects, that I must be this or that ideology because I refuse to bend the knee to this politician. I've said what I've said, and I stand by what I said, and it's been consistent, fact-based, in no way, shape, or form ideologically motivated, and explicitly about questioning his own words and actions. And see, what you're doing is spewing meaningless, dissociative, conversation-stopping nonsense that's equivalent to like the warm-up to starting like the bullying that's going to turn into just name-calling. You're not addressing any of the things I've actually said. All right, hold on. I see there's one chunky text that might actually say something of interest. But cognitive dissonance, you're accusing me of experiencing cognitive dissonance. So you're just unaware of and or in denial. By the way, that's a really tired talking point that comes from Trump. Are you gonna accuse me of having Trump derangement syndrome next too? Y'all just regurgitating talking points. It's really adorable when people who are literally following a script that tells them to call other people sheeple, call other people sheeple for asking them to question the script they're regurgitating. That's the perspective I'm at. You're saying I'm experiencing cognitive dissonance because I'm daring people who blindly support Trump to question why Trump wants blind faith loyalty from politicians and military staff. I'm the sheeple. I'm the one experiencing cognitive dissonance. My friend, that's fucking laughable. I'm not the one defending a registered sex offender con man who has defaulted on business plans multiple times because of his horrible decision making. I'm not defending anybody. I'm asking, how the F can you continue to defend that given the facts on the ground? But if you haven't read Project 2025 and you haven't read the transcripts to the court cases he's lost, then you don't really know what you're defending, do you? But I'm the one that's experiencing cognitive dissonance. I mean, who wrote that line for you, buddy? That is hilarious. Sure, there is people were... What do you mean? Sure, there is people were blind. There's some grammar for you. To previous administrations pay for play with Chinese and Russia. But you are okay with shipping money to foreign countries while cost of living is skyrocketing? I never said anything about that. Do you see what I mean? You're projecting nonsense. I never said anything about anything. That's got nothing to do with what I've said. Absolutely. Never did I say I'm okay with shipping money to foreign countries while cost of living is skyrocketing. In fact, one of my criticisms of Trump is, where is his economic revolution he promised? Both terms, he said he was going to make the economy better, and he did not, objectively, make the economy better for anyone that wasn't making more than $100,000 a year. Or, more. So, and a lot of people make more than $100,000 a year, so I guess that's okay. But he's not making the economy better for me, and he's not making the economy better for anyone who works for a living and is struggling to meet ends, as the saying goes. So, yeah, again, nonsense accusation, but I'm the one that's got cognitive dissonance. Your condescending tone shows more, but the same can be said about your talking points. My talking points... Could you please articulate what my talking points are? You don't know them yet. Have you gone and listened to my podcast as I've invited you to? You can't address my talking points if you have no effing clue what my talking points are. My talking points are, I question Trump because I question everything. But so now you're against questioning everything. You're going to tell me that critical thinking is a sin next. Biden sold us to China and Ukraine. But please tell me more. When did I ever defend Biden? Never have I ever. Politicians do horrible things. Both parties. If you were paying any attention to anything I've said, you would have picked on the hashtag 2 wings, 1 bird. So again, I'm the one experiencing cognitive dissonance when you're the one accusing me of nonsense that have absolutely zero to do what I've said, dude. Zero. Never once have I defended Biden. I'm not defending Biden now, so you bringing Biden up is irrelevant. NVIDIA and Hyundai planned investment. More nonsense. Okay, now you're just taking wild swings at stuff that no one is talking about. Who's the nonsense guy? Meanwhile, Trump has created a coalition with people who adamantly believe, as a matter of blind faith, that it is their God-given duty to put a person of faith chosen by Jesus himself in the White House in order to impose a fake Christian national religion. And if you're not paying attention, he's getting that done. We're supposed to have a separation of church and state in this country. He's opened a national church office to define and endorse the national religion, something the founding fathers literally opposed and said, don't do that, and wrote a thing about in the Constitution. Oh, I see. You've run out of scripty points, so now you've just got laughy mocky face, man. Anybody following along, I think, that has actual an actual appreciation for questioning everything and not just blindly following along is going to agree with me in saying, bro, provide proof of which part? they haven't gotten to expressing a law mandating a single religion yet, but do you not see the direction that they're going in? Did you not read Project 2025? Again, it's easy to deny things if you did not read Project 2025 and you did not read any of the court cases that he's lost. Because what are you arguing? You don't even know what you're defending if you haven't read those things. But we never in the history of American history, what is buffoonery? Asking you to read facts? Sir, the only buffoonery is you making a fool of yourself right now. If you haven't read the plan that he is working from, but you're defending him and calling me a buffoon for daring to question the plan he denied following, yet is obviously following, who's the buffoon? The one who's blindly defending a plan you didn't read, or someone who's asking you why you aren't reading it and thinking and questioning it? You have a copy of Project 2025. Did you read it? Or did you just buy it to give them money? Did you also buy a Trump autographed Bible? Where is the law mandating a single religion? They haven't gotten there yet, but they've already proposed a law mandating a single language, and they've already opened an office of government religion. And that lady's crazy. Have you read the criminal history background on that lady? That lady is a literal, con person that has hacked people's bank accounts. But I'm the buffoon. I'm the brainwashed sheeple. Again, I'm not defending Biden. Two wings, one bird, buddy. Punch and Judy puppet show. Do you understand what that even means? If you're going to come at me with nonsense about Biden, then you don't really understand what I'm saying, and you obviously don't want to. You just want to regurgitate the owning lib talking points you think are so clever that you're copying from somebody's podcast. And you've literally stepped up to someone who's been running a podcast called Good Morning Trumptopia since the first year of his first administration. You've said nothing new. You have recycled the exact same nonsense that people come at me with, answered none of my questions, except for apparently you do own a copy, brought up all the same tired points that got nothing to do with what I'm saying, and resorted to almost basically name calling. You didn't call me a buffoon, but you heavily implied that I'm a buffoon by saying buffoonery. And it's adorable, but mindlessly unoriginal. If you think you're coming at me with something clever that I haven't seen or heard before, you're talking to the wrong guy. I host a show called Good Morning Trumptopia, and I publicly post about this on Facebook. I've had this exact same, you're playing tic-tac-toe and calling it 4D chess. It's cute, except for the fact that it's empowering what's going on. Instead of calling me names, maybe do a little research. There's a freaking documentary on the group called The Family, and they are what's at the center of that whole coalition, because there's multiple groups, including the KKK. Okay? I'm not defending Biden at all. I didn't bring up Biden at all. But you are going out of your way to defend someone who's been adjudicated in court as a sex offender, someone who's tanked multiple companies and is currently tanking the economy, and handing over money to oligarchs from other countries. And you're defending him by regurgitating stuff I've seen 1,000 times that has nothing to do with what I've said. I have zero proof that 2025 is being implemented. He's hired people from the Heritage Foundation that worked on the writing of Project 25 into his cabinet
He literally spoke at the Heritage Foundation, thanking them for developing the project, promising them that he will execute it faithfully, and it's on tape. You have zero proof of nothing, and you're regurgitating this nonsense claim that I have zero proof when there's an abundance of proof, and it is not on my burden to prove it. It's been proved that he is implementing Project 2025. It is painfully obvious that he's implementing the project directly. And you're just repeating what he says about he says he has the best memory, but then he also doesn't remember anything. He literally spoke at the Heritage Foundation to the people who wrote Project 2025, said, thank you for writing it. I look forward to implementing it. And it's all on tape. Adorable, but wrong, your claim. And this conversation has been thrilling. I was supposed to be playing Assassin's Creed Shadows, and I've talked myself hoarse. And so far, for all your claims, you haven't actually addressed anything I've said in a meaningful way other than to minimize it or try to dismiss it or deny it without any proof. The proof that he's implementing Project 2025 is everywhere. You have zero proof that he is not. Yeah, I am. And I have been since the first administration. So before you try to argue with me, you might want to pay attention and hear me out. Because so far, all you've really done is repeat nonsense, unrelated, scripted talking points at me that are common parlance all over social media, and I've seen 1,000 times. Okay? I'm here. I stand by what I've said, and I have a track record. Look up the podcast, Good Morning Trumptopia, and give it a listen. If you want to actually debate me, you should know where I'm coming from and what I'm actually saying first. Otherwise, you'll get caught and exposed as just flinging spaghetti strands on the refrigerator to see what sticks, which is literally what you've done. Yeah, and now you're pointing out obvious things that are kind of silly. Duh. I'm making public assertions on Medium, and I stand by them. And I have a track record. And I stand by it. Oh, I am? What are they? And this is the cute part. You don't even know what my talking points are. You don't really know what my talking points are. Because what we've discussed here represents like the tiniest percentage of what my message is. The only thing you've heard is, he doesn't like Trump, so I must go at him with stuff I've heard before. Somewhere. Like, you don't know what I'm talking about. You've just made a crazy assertion that I have no proof that he's implementing Project 2025. What do you want me to do? You have the internet in front of you. You can find the video where he literally thanks them for writing it for yourself. Again, all I'm asking is, why are you going out of your way to defend him? I'm not defending anybody. And maybe that difference is lost on people, because people in your position, since day one, since he announced, they've come at me as if I've spent my entire career defending establishment Democrats. I've never fucking voted for a Democrat in my life. If you want to have a real discussion, I'm all about public discourse, bro. I've been engaging with public discourse publicly on the internet since before AOL existed. Okay? So I'm perfectly comfortable and very aware of how public discourse works. And when I say I've heard this before, trust me, it means I've heard it 1,000 times, because I've been on the internet almost every day since before AOL existed. Okay? My track record is consistent. If you want to discuss my talking points, you should empower yourself by listening to at least a handful of my podcast episodes so you can actually address what I'm addressing. Because just throwing things about Biden out in the air is doing nothing for you, because I've never once in my life defended Biden about anything at all. So irrelevant. Yeah, not in this moment right now. But you weren't there before Trump came on the scene, and I realized that this is bigger than the left-right echo chamber. Also, I haven't spoken with vitriol, dude. What vitriol? I get accused of supposedly hating him all the time. I'm just asking, how can anyone support him based on these facts? That's not vitriol. That's not hatred. That's questioning the logic being presented. And the logic always boils down to, you hate him because Biden, which makes zero sense. I also didn't say I'm a centrist. You're just going to accuse me of things I haven't said. Here's what I've said consistently for years, since long before Trump was even considering switching from the left to the right to run for office. Because for most of his adult life, he was a Democrat. Which should outrage you guys, but doesn't make sense that it doesn't, but whatever. I am let us abandon the two-party system guy. So you literally don't know what I'm saying. You think I'm left-leaning because you're projecting your assumptions onto me. You literally have no idea what my message is other than it's not a pro-Trump one, and therefore you gotta say stuff. And that gets really old really fast, friend. Because it's boring. And if you want to discuss my talking points, you should try to know what they are first. And I've literally laid them out as clearly and as explicitly as I can. But let me blow your mind. The left wing and the right wing, long before Trump showed up, I've been like, you guys, left versus right is a Punch and Judy show. No matter how much they foam at the mouth, it's an act. Because in the end, they always help each other vote the shit in that both voting bases disagrees with. Maybe, just maybe, I've always consistently been, maybe a person is suggesting that we question this double-barreled echo chamber based on treadmills of argumentation and consider the possibility that transcending political ideology and abdicating it entirely, maybe, just maybe, down that path, focusing on pragmatic and practical solutions to the actual fucking problems that we created for ourselves, maybe that's the path we should explore. Y'all just want to keep accusing me of being a leftist or a rightist? That's cute. But it's nonsense. And it's extra cute and adorably nonsensical when you call me the one that's a sheeple, when I'm the one speaking so outside the box you don't even fucking understand. And you're being invited to understand. But instead, you just keep trying to put me down. Which says everything about you that the world who's following along needs to know. You're an agorist. That's a new one on me. I don't know that I've ever heard of agorist. You listen to my words and then you lean left. You listened to less than 0.0000000 point. I mean, there's not another point, but 0.001% of my words. You listened to what I said just now, which is explicitly questioning Trump. That's not automatically leftist. And that's my fucking point. That's what you guys always do. You're so caught up in defending this guy and the inexcusable behavior that is categorically un-American, unconstitutional, immoral, against the law, and un-Christ-like, and all you got is you're so leftist, when I'm literally we should abdicate left versus right nonsense and focus on solving problems. If that resonates and somehow reminds you of the left, that's a you coincidence. The leftists don't like me. You're an agorist. I'm gonna look that up. That's a new one on me. Is that a new movement or the reutilization of an old movement? And like I said, if you want to actually discuss my talking points, you should really empower yourself first by listening to my podcast. I mean, if you want to actually engage in respectful, intellectual, civilized public discourse, if you just want to engage in name calling and left versus right, Trump versus not Trump, spewing of spaghetti strands, then that's hilarious. But how is what you're doing going to solve any of the problems that we face? It doesn't matter how long you've been lurking. You've been lurking what? Have you listened to my podcast, or you've been lurking me play video games? If you've been lurking my live stream play video games, you still have no clue what's on my podcast. Do I have an ego? Maybe. Does everyone have an ego? Yes. Do I speak with confidence? Abso-fucking-lutely. So does Trump. Why is it something you admire in Trump but something that's bad in me? I speak with confidence, and I say what I say, and I stand by it. And so far, I haven't caused any businesses to go bankrupt multiple times. So far, I haven't been, found criminally liable for fraud in multiple cases. Say what you want, but the facts remain the facts. And I'm not the one blindly defending any politician. I have never blindly defended any politician. Oh, and now we have best viewers garbage. How is it arrogance? How is it not arrogance in Trump? Trump literally is the most arrogant man in the world. So you should be admiring that about me. If you're going to defend the most arrogant fucking politician that's ever existed in living memory, unless I don't know what's happened before I could observe them. He's the most arrogant. I'm just matching his vibe, bro. So that's a comedically irrelevant comment. Because if you're going to defend arrogance, then who cares that I'm arrogant? You should admire that in me. Comedy. Lurk all you want. But you think you know something about me if you haven't listened to 4 or 5 episodes of Good Morning Trumptopia, plus the majority of unauthorized and explicit readings. You have no clue what my message is. You think you do, but you're mostly projecting because I'm not defending any leftist. I'm not defending any politician. I'm responding to your words, man. And yeah, I don't know you. You're right. I don't know. I don't know if you're a girl or a guy. I don't know why your name is so creepy and has the word like what? Oh, well, my eyes are going. I thought that said child something. What? Reconnaissance? Yeah, I know what that word is. Cope with what? What are we coping with? I can't read your mind, so you're going to have to give me more context than that. But again, I would be happy to discuss my actual concerns, questions, and message. But I humbly invite you to please first actually know what that is. And coping, friend, is something everybody has to do. I don't think you are free from having to cope with the world around you and the circumstances which are ongoing. And for all your denialist dismissal of it, my urgency is based entirely on the fact that it is unacceptable to me that evangelical Christianity, the KKK, and a group with bazillions of dollars who literally wants to cause the apocalypse because they think that's their religious calling, that they have so much influence over the guy in the White House. That doesn't make any sense to me, and it's I don't understand how anyone can continue to blindly defend him, and blindly defend him by making arguments that don't make sense, right? I think. Oh yeah, let's look up agorism. I do genuinely want to know what that is. It sounds like it's got some. Does it have anything to do with like agriculture? Look at me. That was just me making sure that it copy pasted good. I'm so arrogant that I'm going to admit I don't know this word, and that I'm going to look it up because I want to know. I'm so arrogant that I'm completely unfazed by my unawareness, and I'm eager to find out more. Agorism is a free market anarchist political philosophy founded by Samuel Edward Konkin. That's an interesting name. The Third. Ooh. He's the third. Those are rare. You don't get a lot of the thirds anymore. Samuel Edward Konkin the Third, that has the ultimate goal of bringing about a society in which relationships between people are voluntary exchanges of free market. Ah, yes. Cool. Okay. So then you should be outraged at what Trump is doing because nothing that he's doing is helping the free market at all. Like, it's... Unless your idea of the free market is like a billionaire oligarch's casino where everyone's 401k is the collateral. I mean, if that's what you endorse, I'm asking. I'm confused. The term comes from the Greek word agora, referring to an open place for assembly. I cannot disagree that relationships between people should be voluntary. They absolutely should be voluntary. No one should be forced to do anything. No one should be forced to accept the destruction of due process. And yet that just happened. The Trumptopian movement has just forced America, or it's trying to, it's in the throes of trying to force America at large to accept the shredding and complete disposal of due process. And the arguments in defense of that are laughable. Because they clearly, people who are like defending the complete destruction of due process do not seem to understand that as soon as a government no longer respects due process, then it doesn't matter who you are. The moment they want to do something to you, you have no protection. Even if you've been drinking the Kool-Aid the whole fucking time. So that's cool. I don't, not knowing any more than that, and I'll open up the Wikipedia and I'll do a little more reading on that. Thank you for introducing me to a new ism. Now, let me explain to you what I think about isms. And this is something you don't know. You could not predict the following thing that's about to come out of my mind. Biden to illegally wash out of 190 billion TNT. Okay, again, I've never defended Biden. So billionaire tech bros who censorship free speech. Again, I didn't. You have a Biden obsession. I never defended Biden. I never supported Biden. I did not vote for Biden. I'm not a Republican Democrat. So, who are you arguing with in that regard? Not me. You're essentially arguing with yourself there. I do appreciate you introducing me to a new ism. And based on that little blurb that I read, I've nothing to generally disagree with there. Except for when people say free market, we need to disambiguate what that's supposed to mean. Because a lot of the same people who are like free market also like don't respect the free market a lot. It's confusing. But yeah, generally, and I'm going to read some more about agorism. Now, again, since you haven't asked and you keep projecting and telling me things, bringing up argument points that have got nothing to do with what I've said. I've never once supported Biden. I've never once blindly defended him. So you attempting to own me by saying, yeah, what about this Biden stuff? Is like, I don't give a flying fuck about you bringing that up right now. He's not in office. He's never going to be in office again. And I wasn't defending him at any point in time. Ever. What about what Trump is doing now, bruh? Yeah, all of that is bad. What about, I'll tit for tat you since you seem to want to, you only seem to understand that. What about the Tate brothers? You mad about Silk Road? I think it is inexcusable that Andrew Tate and his trafficking brother went straight to Mar-a-Lago. But I never defended Biden. Okay? So, I didn't say past or historical data doesn't matter. I'm saying that in this context, it's got nothing to do with what my message is, which is what you're trying to critique. It's like if someone were to criticize the book War and Peace, but they didn't read the book. They played Call of Duty. So their book report is all about the storyline in Call of Duty. It's irrelevant. Do you understand what that means, or do you need a dictionary? Of course, past events and data count. That's why when Trump announced in front of a bunch of paid extras that he was abandoning his Democratic Party affiliation to run for the Republican Party, I pointed out the facts of his past record, including multiple fraud cases that he lost, multiple bankruptcies of casinos. Do you understand how hard it is to bankrupt a casino? Do you understand why we have a phrase called the house always wins? They are money-making machines. It's really hard to drive a casino bankrupt. He did it multiple times. And all you've got is a dismissal emoji. See what I mean? But I'm the cognitive dissonant, blind faith sheeple that's blindly defending corrupt politicians when you're literally doing it. Has this been fun for you? Because I look forward to making clips. It's going to be fun for me. Thanks for coming by. I appreciate it. I now feel like I need to take a massive dump and then eat something. So you'll forgive me. I got to go. Again, none of what you said. He realized that left was corrupt. Oh, he did? And that's why he then took money from every foreign national that would give him money through his hotels? Because he completely ignored the emoluments clause for his entire first term? He realized the left was so corrupt that he went to the right to be more corrupt. You should be outraged that this past weekend or the weekend before, I forget which, instead of receiving dead veterans, he was getting paid by a Middle Eastern oligarch, billionaire, to host a golf tournament at one of his golf club things, even though he swore both times that he ran for office that he would play the least golf of any president ever. But I'm the one that's blindly defending a corrupt politician. Like, you make no sense, buddy. And, like, I don't know. Your emojis are adorable, but, bro, speak anecdotally. Casinos are money machines. That's literally what I did say. And he bankrupted multiple of them. Do you not understand that? Like, facts matter, but you're the one ignoring the facts. Past track record matters, but you're the one defending a guy with a horrible track record. Not me. I ain't defending anybody. I'm literally asking, how can anyone defend that? And you're bending over backwards and doing mental gymnastics to try to ridicule me like we're in junior high. And you're some guy on the playground that wants to be a playground bully, but doesn't quite know yet how. I don't know why you keep bringing up Biden. It's adorable, but irrelevant. Irrelevant. Because I'm not defending him. How many casinos have you started again? None. But I've also not bankrupted anything. And that's a meaningless straw man argument. Hilarious. I'm not running for office. I'm not the one claiming that America should be run like a corporation, whilst also blaming giant corporations for everything that's wrong in the country, while also taking corporate money from the biggest, giant, most corrupt corporations ever. And a foreign-born billionaire oligarch who overstayed his visa. Like, I'm not the one defending the impossible to defend, dude. So your attempts to dismiss me are adorable, but meaningless and easily laughed off. Okay. That has been, I think that we've exhausted the terms of that discussion. Again, I humbly invite you to actually try to wrap your brain around what my message is, because while your new ism that I just learned about is interesting, my ism may actually blow your mind because it's an anti-ism. The reason your commentary at me is irrelevant is not because it doesn't somehow have validity in regards to the things you're criticizing Biden about. It's because I'm not supporting Biden and I'm not promoting any of his isms. So it's kind of besides the point. It's besides the point that I'm making. It's irrelevant to the point that I'm making. The point that I'm making is currently lost on you. If you'd like to have a more productive discussion, I humbly invite you to actually try to comprehend what my message is. Which, if I were to summarize in one simple sentence, it's this. But I humbly invite you to listen to my podcast in order to get it explained to you in breadth and depth, so you can then address what I'm actually said, as opposed to throwing nonsense spaghetti at me and seeing what sticks, none of which will. Including trying to accuse me of having a big ego. Like, that's just a human mechanism. You have a big ego too. Like, if you didn't, you wouldn't be here trying to argue with me. Especially trying to argue with me not knowing what my core thesis actually is. You can't have a discussion with anybody if you don't know what they're trying to say, right? You just know that I am opposing Trump, but I'm not just blindly, irrationally opposing Trump because I've had my reasons from the get-go that are bigger than whatever the script tells you to accuse me of with the left, because I've got nothing to do with them. And it's, if I'm going to summarize my thesis or my ism in one tiny sentence, it would be all isms are made up and imaginary, and we need to maybe transcend them so we can solve the actual problems. Because your ism, their ism, everybody's isms arguing and running on a treadmill, and I have not seen the problems get solved in 50 fucking years. It's the same argument, right? How can I speak on running a business? Because I have eyes and ears and a brain, dude. And I have run businesses. I've just never started a casino. I've never run for office, but I have the right to voice my opinion about politics and what politicians do. And, curiously, I never use that right to blindly defend anybody. So, until you can meet me in that space and actually comprehend what I'm trying to say about transcending the ideology instead of entrenching ourselves in more ideological infighting, meet me there and then we can discuss something. Because right now, you're just going around in circles. And I'm just sitting here going, hey, buddy, you're going around in circles. And what you are talking about doesn't apply to me. Not because of my ego, but because of what I say in my content, because of what I'm trying to explain and share. It's like I said, it's like if you went to a basketball game but cheered for your favorite football team. Like, you just don't realize you're at a basketball game yet when it comes to talking with me. It's not hate. I'm just letting you know. Like, you don't know what you don't know. That's a fact of life. None of us can know what we do not know. You have no idea what you do not know about me. And yet you insist on telling me what I stand for instead of actually hearing me out. It's up to you if you want to follow through on the invitation. Doors wide open. My podcast, and if you've been lurking that long, you know that my podcast is freely available for anyone to listen to wherever fine podcasts are shared for free. Just search for the Almost Daily Zencast and or Mr. Zeppo, and you should be able to find random episodes. But if you want to go to the home of the podcast, dear friends and audience, wait, what scene are we in? Dear Streamlabs, what are we doing? Oh, there we go. If you want to come, anybody following along, and I hope there are more people following along than seems obvious at first, I humbly invite anybody that wants to discuss this civilly and for the purposes of actually finding solutions, not just slinging spaghetti to see what sticks to people's faces, then you please do come straight to Sprecher.com. You can find the direct link at the very top of my link collection page at solo.to/Mr. Zeppo. I need to take a little break and reset and reslate this recording as a almost daily podcast episode, because it's what it turned into. We never even got near launching. Well, we got into the loading screen for Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'm going to take a break and grab a bite to eat. Shout out to, I don't know what your name is supposed to mean, and I don't know how I'm supposed to pronounce it, so I'm not going to, Ad Childwag. Add chili dog? Sorry, I don't know what you mean. Thanks for coming in and trying to spar. But next time, please start by understanding what my point is. Because if you're just going to accuse me of trying to make a point I'm not making, it's not me that looks the fool. Okay? Cool. I'll see you next time. And hopefully you'll have something to say that actually has something to do with what I've been talking about for the last several years, as it's right there available for you to listen to. Please and thank you. Okay. As for everyone else, as I always say at the end of my shows, which if you've been lurking for a very long time, you should know this, Ad Chili Dog for whatever your name is. May peace, love, and grievingness blossom in your hearts, friends. And remember to be good human beings out there to one another. Especially on the social media, especially when engaging in public discourse, and in the game lobbies, where way too many of you are toxic, bigoted, chauvinist asshats, and we need to stop. We need to make that stop. It's nonsense. Gaming shouldn't be dangerous to people's mental health because of other people's bigotry. And as a gaming community, we need to call that nonsense out for what it is, completely meaningless malarkey, and it needs to be rooted out at the stem by helping people realize that it's just bigotry and that they need to grow up. I wonder if Ad Chili Dog is going to be offended by that final thought, but I don't have time to find out because I need to take a shit. A big, massive, satisfying poop. Until next time, friends, I've been your humble and eccentric and, yes, deeply self-confident fictional literary character from a book series you haven't read yet, because no matter how long you've been lurking, you still haven't gone to solo.to/Mr. Zeppo and given yourself the self-guided tour of the Zeppoverse. Because if you had, you'd know I'm a robot from another dimension sent here to warn humanity about your own self-destruction that you are currently enthusiastically pursuing. And unless you'd like to end all life on this planet, y'all seriously need to get your fucking heads out of the sand and stop arguing about made-up nonsense and start actually solving the problems that you created for yourselves, like relying on everything toxic. Like everything you do is toxic to biology. That is like your body. It's bad for your body. But that's a whole another discussion topic for another day. Again, friends, if you're more than welcome to come at me like our friend Ad Child Dogging. It's my glasses. I'm never quite clear if that's an I or an L or Ad_chillid. Is it chili dog with a 4 in it, or chillid forwag? I just don't get that. I don't get people's weird names. But if you do, please don't do what our friend here did and come at me without a comprehension of what my actual message is, because my message is not what people assume. And that's why I've got a fucking podcast. So you can listen to it first and then drop your comments. I'm all for a meaningful, civilized public discourse that's pragmatically focused on solving the actual problems that we face. And one of the actual problems that we face is that there is a massive number of people with way too much money on their hands that think the end of the world is prophesized in a crazy book written by shepherds thousands and thousands of years ago. Okay? And mind you, I'm not anti-Jesus. I'm anti the ideology of Christianity that is in direct opposition to the words of Christ's teachings. Again, something I've discussed in depth and that most people get wrong when trying to criticize me. So before you come at me with anything about how I'm anti-Christian, you should really find out what I'm actually saying first. Please and thank you. Until next time, may gnosis be with you, and may the true meaning of Yeshua's teachings blossom in all your hearts, and may your third eyes fucking open, because y'all way overdue. Peace out. I'll be back, and when I do come back, I will just play Assassin's Creed, hopefully. Although this was fun. I'm glad we had it. I was wondering if I was going to do a podcast at all today, and bingo, you helped me make it happen. DJ Zed, where are you with the exit music? There we go. Peace out, folks. I will see you soon.